Hey, okay, this weekend was eventful. Oh my gosh. So I sat down to um do a video and which by the way, the silent film critique, I was having technical difficulties like crazy. So there will be two silent film critiques this next week. Yeah, my computer kept updating too. I don't know what was going on there. But I had all the information that I needed for this other uh, video. Words, they're not coming. So I sat down, and then all of a sudden, this happened. So I'm going to talk about it because actually, this goes as far back as November. And oh my gosh. Yeah. So back in November, when I had the calendars up on Zazzle, I had someone contact me. Yeah, I have the receipts here. Tom, he was a reporter from the Oregonian, and he he said that he loved my work. And then he started talking about himself. He would talk about the this movie about Nellie Bly, and apparently the movie that he was in, the intro credits is the reason that he was drawn to my work, to my artwork. And which okay, that's fine. But I mean the the thing is the movie sucks, okay? That's your claim to I'm gonna tell you this, he brought the movie up like 4 or 5 times. He's in it in a total of like 3 seconds. Okay. Sorry. But if that's your claim to fame, and he would bring it up. This is something that my great grandmother said once. If you have to bring up something constantly and bring it up when it's irrelevant to the conversation, people will start to think that you broke someone's arm to get that thing. And which is true. I mean, if you're going to constantly annoy us with telling us, well, I won this award, I won this, I was part of this play, I was this, I was that, I was blah 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 blah. When nobody cares, stop it. But that's what he's grown ass man in his 60s, and his insecurity level is way up here off the charts. To tell me about a sucky movie that nobody remembers, dude, nobody cares. Okay. He would tell me about it when I didn't ask. Okay. It's great that you were part of it, but I'm sorry, I don't care. Especially since there's another Nellie Bly movie out that's 1,000 times better. I'd rather watch that. I'm sorry, but whose arm did you break? Plus, you're not even one of the main characters. So why are you fixated on this so much? Yeah, I wouldn't fixate on that so much. There are things I did I don't talk about. I'm just like, yeah, I mean there are dance things like performances and stuff, no, not worth talking about. I just don't. Word of advice. And I can't believe a 40-year-old has to tell a 60-year-old, stop. But your insecurity is way off the charts, my man. Oh, and he's trying like he does this whole thing where he's trying so hard to be your friend because he says like, well, this is a word I made up, as well as a fancy, a word I definitely did not make up because I would have come up with something better for a Newsy fan. It's like, shut up. You're in your 60s. And but I do have to give him that. Okay, I'll be on his side on that one because Christian Bale fans call themselves Bale heads. What the fuck? Find a better. I sure hope they have come up with something better. So, yeah. And I don't, yeah. So I gotta give him, I gotta be on his side on that one. Fansy, what the hell? Yeah, when they told me, when a couple of my fellow fans said, "Oh yeah, we're fancies." I'm like, "What is that? What is?" I didn't even know how to respond. So yeah, that one I gotta be on his side on that one. But then he goes on and he says, "Given your interest in history and apparently journalism history in particular, I would also commend your attention." Which that doesn't make sense at all. Commend your attention to recent. I think he meant uh something else to recent or to a recent Oregonian piece about which is his piece. I had seen it already. It's about a printing press and yeah, a 19th century printing press. Yeah, this guy has a collection of printing presses in Oregon and so again, he's talking about himself. Dude, quit it. Your ego is so bad. Okay, so I would be interested in hearing about your photographic work as well as your research. It reminds me of a friend in Vancouver who would buy random antique photographs and then set herself the task of finding out as much as possible about the person. Now, this is okay. I told him that I do this, but then he didn't want to talk about that in the interview. All right. He also says here, my son and I do the same thing with grave markers, but of course, they generally yield far more clues than photographs. That's not true. What? Again, dude, like he's all over the place. So just because I'm gonna tell you right now, there are some gravestones that will only say, well, like say for instance, Jimmy Stewart. It will say J. Stewart. Just like the J. Dawson for Titanic. Everybody thought that that was Jack Dawson, and so all the Titanic movie fans thought that that was Jack Dawson. No, it's James Dawson. This guy is off his rocker. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And there's a lot of times where it doesn't even have a date. So you could be sitting there. There was one where people were trying to find who the person was. It turns out it was a cat grave. That was the funniest to me. People were going around because it said that the cat was a great companion for all these years and all this stuff. Well, yeah, and there was another one that said that they were a great partner for years and all this stuff. Well, yeah, you would expect. I can, yeah, I understand. It was for their pet. Victorians and Edwardians thought the same way as we do about their pets. They were companions. I mean, there's pictures like of Andrew Carnegie with his border collie and oh shoot. Uh I'm blanking on his name. Coolidge, Calvin Coolidge. He loved his dogs. Absolutely loved his dogs. So and then of course his wife had her pet raccoon. So I'm sorry, but for him to sit on his high horse and say that these grave markers have far more clues than photographs is bullshit. Because a lot of times what they have is just like Jay Dawson, and that doesn't even have the dates on it. That's crap. But he's sitting there acting like he knows more than me. And I'm sorry, no, you don't. Okay. And there are a lot of people like on Pinterest when they do the captions, they they don't put the right person, especially with the bathing girls. With the Max Sennett bathing girls, oh my gosh, they don't get them right. There are so many people who don't uh and it's not just the bathing girls. It's with a lot of these and it's so irritating. And so you have all these people that are like, "Oh, well, I got the name off of Pinterest, so it has to be right." And it's like, "No, it isn't." Pinterest isn't historically accurate. Damn it. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, but I know people that go to graveyards and try to find information and he's not the only one. Now, when we did the interview, first of all, let's talk about the interview. Okay. So, I agreed to do the interview and the first when we agreed on a date, he forgot. Okay, that happens. And when we rescheduled, um he went to vote. That day, he went to vote. And he went to a place he knew this particular place had bad phone reception. You know, that the building screwed up with the reception and everything. Okay. I'm not mad about the voting. Go and vote to your heart's content, but if you know that the place messes with phone reception, don't go. Especially if you have a phone interview. Um, you know, we have an area here that cell phone reception is just trash. There are people that still it's like 2004 where you see people where they're like, "Can you hear me now? Are you still there? Can you?" Their phone rings and then it's like they'll be like, "Hello? Are you there? Can you hear?" Either don't answer or say, I'll call you back. Oh, the worst are those people that know that someone's in the hospital and they decide to go to that particular area, which, okay, fine, you're dealing with a hard time, but you come to the worst of town where your phone decides to be, yeah. Well, this is what that dude did. Tom decided that he was, again, vote to your heart's content. I have no problem with that. But when he has a phone interview, he decides to come to a place where the phone is going to be garbled. Why would you do that? Oh my gosh. And again, he decided to play it off all silly and all of this stuff. He was like, "Oh, this place is not in the 21st century and all this." Quit it. Just I'm not 12, okay? I'm not a 12-year-old. I don't find this funny. This is unprofessional at this point, okay? You can't stop talking about yourself, and I mean you bring up stuff that doesn't matter, and now you're trying to be silly about the fact that you were at somewhere where you knew that the phone reception was bad. Okay. Is this how you treat other clients? This is not good. This looks terrible on you, pal. Oh my gosh. So then originally I just wanted to drop the whole thing. I just wanted to tell him, you know what, forget the interview, forget all of it. I'm just kind of I don't want to do this. And yeah, go ahead and tell everybody I'm a quitter and everything. But my ex told me to go ahead and go through with it because he was really excited about the idea of me being interviewed. It would look good for my business and everything. And yeah, he had a point. So I went ahead and decided to go through with it and all of that. So we did the interview and it just felt so off because it was like Tom had an issue with me being a part of all these history communities. So he had to talk about somebody else. All of a sudden, his son was a historian. Okay, fine. But why are we talking about your son? Okay. And he asked about the silent film community. I started talking about it, and then he wanted to talk about something else. And he asked about my relationship, and then all of a sudden he went into talking about his relationship. And it was like, why is it so much about you? So basically, he was bragging about himself to me. See, again, massive insecurity. And it was like, I don't know. So yeah, it felt, I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it straight up because at the time it didn't feel that way, but now looking back, he's a sexist. Tom is a sexist. Okay. Because when he's telling me that he loves my work and he wanted to talk about history and my work and everything, and that's not what happened, and he's just gushing about himself and his family and everything and just basically interviewing himself, yeah, he's a fucking sexist. Okay. So he then asked for information, such as like the links like what you see in the description box, like bookstore and all of that stuff. And he also asked for a picture, and which what happened to that? I want to know what happened to that picture because I would think that just a little article like this would be like a back pager, nothing big. Why would you need a picture, you sick bastard? I was kind of surprised about it because usually, yeah. So why would you need a picture of me? What are you doing with that picture? I gave him a picture from that was a screenshot from uh the Vincent Price uh shoot. The Vincent Price video that I did. And so yeah, I want to know. I want to know how come he needed a video of I mean a picture of me. And where did it go? Because that article didn't happen. Yeah, that's the thing is that he asked for a picture of me. He didn't ask for a picture of my work. And considering what he was talking about, yeah, uh-huh, yeah, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Anyway, so he then said that he would get in touch with me when the story went to print. Okay, now here's the thing is that I know how the newspaper business works. All right. Despite what he may think, I do. Okay. Watching Newsies? No. Yeah, that's not how it works. Look, it doesn't take all these months to write a story. The fact is, he didn't write one. He got caught not writing one, and then he made a bunch of excuses and lied his face off. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, I contacted him in January and I asked how things were going. And he said, he said, well, my own apologies for not responding sooner. Editors at the Oregonian feel that Longview might be a bit too far afield for a feature story about your work, which is a lie. That is a full-blown lie because the Oregonian has covered stories about Longview. They cover stories on Longview all the time. Some of the stories, it's like, wow, slow news day? But not only that, okay, they have covered stories about colorizing going as far back as maybe 2010. when the craze first started. And you're gonna sit there and spout off to me that they weren't interested? You lied. Yeah. This is the point where you destroyed your reputation as a journalist. Okay, because now that film is being colorized, such as like the documentaries where people from the Victorian and Edwardian eras were documenting their everyday life, those are being colorized, be it New York, Philadelphia, even France, Russia, everywhere. Those are being colorized, and people are gobbling it up. People are loving it. They want to see more. Okay. And that started with the snowball fight. When that person who colorized that segment, people can't get enough. They want more, be it the video or colorized images. And you fucking sat there and you told me that the Oregonian didn't want my story. But it goes beyond that. My location has nothing to do with what I do because there are people all over the world who do the same thing. Again, location means jack shit, and you lied. You destroyed your reputation as a journalist the very second you wrote that out. I cannot believe that you were that stupid that you did not think that through, Tom. I didn't know how to respond. So I was like, okay, I guess that at the time, back in January, I was like, okay, I I guess that's their nice way of saying that we're not interesting. I really did not know how to respond to this lunacy that I had just read. So then he goes on and he says, I have a plan. I have contributed to Old Stuff magazine, and it has quite a reach. What I would like to do is sell the story about you to Old Stuff. It will curiously likely reach more readers than the Oregon, as it will be a cover piece. Okay, you said that the Oregonian would have been a cover piece. Yeah, he also talks about himself again, about again, whose arm did you break? Nobody asked. You are so damn insecure. Oh, you didn't write it. You're drowning. Okay. And you say right here, I will let you know when I am ready to file the story. So you have twice now said that you will let me know when this happens, and you never do. I am your client until this thing is printed or until nobody takes the story, because that tends to happen. I know this because I know journalism. Hell of a lot better than you do, pal. Yeah, so he goes silent again. I've had it. I've had it up to here with this 60-year-old man child who just refuses to do his job. So I got in touch with him and asked him Now, I, again, I was mad as a hornet, but all I did was I asked him, let's see, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right here. I said the interview was in November. We're in July now. I even checked the latest Old Stuff magazine and there's nothing in there. So what's going on? I asked a simple question. Okay. Nothing hostile, no, you know, nothing. Well, Tom obviously knew he was caught because he says, I can write stories, but I cannot force publishers to print them. So he's defensive at this point. I pursued this story as far as I did and offered it to publishers pro bono out of respect for your work. Okay, let's break this apart. I pursued this story as far as I did. Then why didn't you tell me about it? Okay, why weren't you honest about that, Tom? If you hit a dead end, why didn't you contact me and say, okay, I've I've exhausted this and nobody wants the story. Instead, you decided to lie to me and you decided to withhold information from me and you decided to just not tell me anything. This is a lie. There is no story. You didn't write a story. You just decided to play a shitty little game. I don't believe that you wrote a story. I don't think you know how to write a story, to be honest. Not one about a woman, anyway. Look, you wrote a cool story about somebody with a bunch of printing presses. That was a man. Okay, but some reason you had a problem with me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because I'm intelligent and I knew more than you about history. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I know more people in journalism than you do, because all you know is Nellie Bly, and I know Richard Harding Davis, Joseph Pulitzer, and William Randolph Hearst, to name a few. I mean, good Lord. Do you want to go down the list of movies that aren't the one that you were in? Oh, okay. So offered the story to publishers pro bono. Okay, that means free. So you were basically handing it out and name the publishers. I notice he doesn't do that. I know this scam. Okay, because I remember in high school, my parents said, you need to go out and look for work. So I would go to two places and then I said, I went to stores. A 60-year-old man is pulling the same scam a teenager did. This is stupid. This is absolutely stupid. If he were honest, he would tell me the names of the publishers and or he would give me all the information and say, I got nothing to hide. Go ahead and call them. Tell them. Yeah, he would give me all of it. So it didn't happen. And as for pro bono, yeah, you can use all the fancy words you want, pal. I know what that means. It means free. Out of respect for your work, fuck off, pal. Fuck all the way off. Considering in November you gushed over my work because it reminded you of your, well, that should have been the clue right there. That should have been the clue right there. What is wrong with you? So you were just handing it out? I don't how okay, let's look at this logically. So you offered it to publishers for free and they still rejected it? That doesn't make sense at all. You really want me to believe that? They rejected a free handout. And how is it respecting my work? Mm-hmm. You have no respect for artists when you do stuff like that. A good comparison of the kind of person you are, the interviewer who sat down with Robert Downey Jr. and then started bringing up Robert Downey Jr.'s drug addiction and his troubled past, and Robert Downey Jr. walked out. Yeah, you're that kind of an asshole. I mean, the fact that you really think that this is okay, you didn't write anything and you got caught, and you're trying to say, well, out of respect for your work, I was handing out your article for free and it was still rejected. Really? You really think I'm that stupid? Plus, you never talk to me. I am your client. Oh, I really hope the Oregonian sees this and sees how much of a snake in the grass you are. I mean, you are acting like an overdramatic, manipulative teenager right now. And that's actually offensive to teenagers. He then proceeds to say, some stories just don't pan out. Given the tone of your message, this will definitely be one of them. So you're actually trying to say that I attacked you. You're hinting at that. I asked a question. You got caught. You're 60 years old and you're pulling that shit. You're pulling the victim card because you got caught not writing a story. That's rich. That's absolutely rich. And then to actually say that you were trying to respect my work by giving a free hand, you're a sexist pig, you know that? I was trying to hold back and not say it. But the fact is that when you were interviewing me, all you wanted to do was talk about yourself and your inflated ego. You didn't want to talk about me the entire time. No, you wanted to talk about other things. You would bring up the silent film community and then you just wanted to change the subject. You wanted to bring up the, seriously, dude, and then to lie to me and say that the Oregonian wasn't interested in Longview at all. Longview is celebrating their 100th anniversary right now. I'm pretty sure that they would be interested, you dickhead. And my location has nothing to do with my artwork. So that's Tom for you. This is something that I have put up with since November. Okay. Um, yeah, from the having to reschedule and then the fact that our interview was basically him bragging about himself and not liking the fact that I actually know things. Wow, you're actually a part of history communities. Yeah, I am. And I don't know why that's a problem. I'm not brain dead. Okay. He was the one that wanted to talk to me. And then it was like, because I don't know what he expected. Okay. And then when he got caught not writing the article, he just continuously lied. So I really hope that the Oregonian sees this and sees that they have a massive problem. Okay, now one thing I want to point out is that I know, well, first, before I say that, um, I found his Facebook page, found it about 2, 3 months ago, and he was posting a bunch of memes, newspaper journalist related memes from Superman to anime and and all that. I'm not going to judge him on that because I mean, look at me. I love anime. So anime doesn't have an age limit. But anyway, so but the thing is that, well, he's going on outings with his family and he would show that he's on assignment. I went as far back as November, December, and even October. So I went and I looked, and while he's trying to say that he pursued this story and t talking about publishers and everything, he didn't do that. Okay, because he would post several times a day, and there was nothing about going to a meeting with publishers. All right, because he would post about going to this thing and going to that thing and um going to this meeting or that meeting and seeing this person or that person. So again, he's caught in a lie. And on his Facebook page, it's clear as a bell there. And so I'm not going to post it here because again, I'm not going to dox the guy. And but it's there that he lied. He's saying here that I did it. I did I did the thing, but over on his Facebook, he didn't. So yeah, two separate stories, and I'm over it. But as I was saying, he's a bad apple in the bunch. I know that not all journalists are like this. I'm very aware of that. It I say it all the time on this channel. Just because one is like this doesn't mean that everybody's like this. But yeah, it was a nightmare for him to actually turn over and say that he's the victim and hint that given the tone of your message. I asked a question. Okay. I asked a question, my dude, and instead you decided to play the victim and act like you were supposed to. A responsible adult would write the fucking article, and you couldn't do that. Okay. This is the most unprofessional thing I have ever seen in my life. Richard Harding Davis would have gotten it done in a day. Nellie Bly would have done the same thing. The person that you keep bringing up, and because you were in that movie for 3 seconds and you can't do it. Okay? Holy shit. And you're just sitting there like, oh my gosh, Oregonian didn't want it. You're lying. So just just stop. Okay? November, July. That chunk of time and you couldn't write a damn article? Are you serious right now? Oh my gosh. Do you realize that in that time, actually, in a week, I finished writing one story? So you have no excuse. You're a 60-year-old man who goes around talking about all this journalism crap, and I have something eating at my brain. It's called epilepsy. It slows down my brain a lot. What is your excuse? You have none. Okay, be an adult and do your job. Anyway, he's a bad apple. Not all journalists are like this, I understand, but people like that give others a bad name. I understand. But this is something that I've been dealing with for quite some time, and I don't like being attacked like that. I really don't. I didn't attack him. I asked a question, and he tried to turn it on me. He's not a victim. Okay, do your job. You had all that time to write an article and you couldn't do it. Anyway, I'm gonna close up here.